Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness, it's tip too high. There we go. How are you guys tonight? I'm excited. We got so many great things going on. And, like usual, before we start the classes, I like to throw on some oils because if we were sitting in each other's living room, we'd be oiling up. So we're going to do it again. I'm going to go ahead and take some sacred frankincense. It's one of mine that just helps me feel happy, helps me feel calm, focused. I still, after all these years, get a little bit nervous when I start talking with everybody, so it helps me come down a bit. I'm going to throw on some Baylor for the same reason. So tell me what oils you are grabbing, maybe not necessarily this moment, but what oils have you been using? I know tomorrow, tomorrow's the day, man, the big election. If you have not already made your decision on all of the things, you need to figure out everything you're doing because we are voting for more than just president. So make sure you're checking out, the judges, the school board, all the proposals in your area. You can go online and know all of those before you ever go register, before you ever vote. So I don't care who you vote for, you do you, but just go out there and make sure your voice is heard. Oh, I'm excited. So again, I'm a little bit of valor for that so that, everybody comes down just a little bit. I'm just saying. I'm also throwing on some peppermint. Peppermint is one of those that I use all the time for everything. So I don't have to have a reason to use it. I had somebody recently ask because they see me put it on my face and on my arms. So like, what do you have going on that you have to use peppermint all the time? I have an addiction. That's what I have going on. I love my peppermint. I love how it warms up, how it just cools you off, or it warms you up, or it makes you feel cozy, or just all the things. I love my peppermint. I got a problem with that. So yeah, tell me where you are from. Tell me what oils you are using right now. Just tell me all the things. And then through the evening, if you have questions, if you have comments, if you're like, hey, I did this for that, just let us know. Post it in the comments, and I will make sure I always go through and I read them. And if it's anything like, I gotta get back with them right away, I'll make sure I shoot you a message. But no matter how many comments are there, I always read them and I try to comment on as many as I can. So today we are talking about your beautiful, glorious gut and your microbiome. So if you don't know what microbiome is, by the end of class tonight, you are going to know, and you're going to know the importance of it and why we should even care. So I want to talk about how your gut is supposed to work. So what is supposed to happen is we eat food, whatever you eat, it starts being digested right in your mouth. So when you're chewing and breaking it into tiny little pieces, and then it's mixing with your saliva, that saliva has an enzyme called amylase, and it starts breaking down. That's why, like, if you were to put a piece of bread in your mouth, put it on your tongue, after it's been there for a few seconds, it starts tasting sweeter than it did when you first put it in. And that's because that amylase right in your mouth begins breaking down that bread into smaller pieces so you're able to taste the sweetness of the carbohydrates that are in the bread. So that digestion starts right here. So making sure you are chewing thoroughly. We are in such a busy world that, man, people are scarfing down their food and just chomp, 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 and we're not even taking a moment to let it begin digestion. So breaking it down, they used to tell us, chew it 75 times or something like that. I'm not that committed. I can't chew for 75 times. It turns to liquid and it grosses me out. But the longer you can chew, the better it is. And then the other one I'm going to say right here with this digestion is making sure that the foods you're eating are things that need to be chewed. So all of the sweet processed foods that we are consuming now, it's like raviolis. Our body needs something with sustenance so that we're chewing on it. It helps with that satiation. So you eat and you feel full quicker. A piece of that leptin getting kicked out, which is what tells us we've had enough, has to do with chewing. So doing things like your apples and your harder foods, they help our body to have to actually chew to break something down. So think celeries, carrots, all the different vegetables that take a minute for you to chew, so you have to slow down. I can also tell you, chewing and enjoying the process and enjoying the flavor also helps you to eat less, simply because it kicks out some other neurotransmitters. We're going to talk about a lot of those tonight. One of the neurotransmitters is serotonin and even dopamine to a smaller extent. That chewing and that enjoyment and enjoying that process helps to kick those out. And those all help us feel a little bit happy. That's why, if you're an emotional eater, those are the neurotransmitters that are kicking out, that are keeping that emotional connection to your food. So chewing on food that does that. So starts with your mouth. It's you're chewing, you got amylase going on. And then when we swallow, we have this thing called peristalsis. So I want you to think of peristalsis as this massaging motion, and it happens from your mouth all the way down. And it's this wave-like motion that takes the food and squishes it to the next spot. So think milking a cow, because they grab it and they squish it down. That's what peristalsis does, all the way down, that massaging. You can even feel it right now if you just swallow. You'll feel your tongue work like a little wave, and it's pushing it back to the throat. The esophagus is going through that process, that massaging. It gets into the stomach itself, and the stomach churns. It takes the food that we put in, and more enzymes are kicked out into the stomach, and the stomach has something called hydrochloric acid. Now, it's supposed to be there. It's supposed to be there in huge quantities. One of the reasons people can get indigestion or that burning that happens in their stomach is because it's too low of an amount of hydrochloric acid, and so the stomach can digest itself. So making sure we've got good hydrochloric acid, and then like I said, those enzymes kick out. Your body puts more enzymes in there depending on it. Tell me, this is how brilliant our body is. Our body decides how much more to kick out, how much hydrochloric acid and enzymes, and what type of enzymes, depending on what we ate. So our body, with its innate intelligence, goes, oh, we eat a whole bunch of salad. We need, and it will kick out the enzymes like cellulase to start breaking that down a little bit. So it increases the enzymes to break down the types of food you're consuming, and it mixes it together to something that we call chyme. And then this chyme is released into the small intestines. It goes right through this valve, and in the small intestines, that peristalsis, that wave-like motion, is happening. And part of the reason it happens, this is really important to understand what's happening in your gut and why some of the issues that you have aren't going away, right? So this massaging motion that happens is squishing the food up against the side of the intestines. Okay, so along the inside of your intestines, on both sides, all the way around, you have these tiny little hair-like pieces called villi, villia, villi, and they act as a straw. So as that food was all broke down and it gets into the small intestines, the villi, as the food is squished up against it, go and they suck. And what they're doing is they're sucking the nutrients out of the food in tiny particles and taking it into the blood supply, so then your blood can rush all of these nutrients to every other cell in the body. So it can be used and utilized and feed the cells of your body. And then we have these microvilli, which are even smaller than the villi, these little hairs, and they go in between all of these waves. But you have to have peristalsis happening to squish the food up to the villi. Because otherwise, it's kind of like if you had a glass but your straw wasn't in the glass, you can't suck any water out. Well, the same thing happens with the food that we're consuming. If it doesn't have enough enzymes and it's not squished and you don't have peristalsis happening, the food can't get to the straw, the villi, and then the villi can't suck the nutrients out. So instead, what you have is everything you're consuming just going all the way out the other end and into your stool. So you're not actually absorbing nutrients. So this can be one of those things where you're like, I'm eating well, I'm doing this, I don't understand why I still. Well, it can actually be that the food A could just not be being broken down enough. Maybe you need to do some things to reinstate that movement and that peristalsis going on. It could be you don't have enough enzymes, that the food you're eating is depleted of enzymes. Like I said, those processed foods, they don't come with their own enzymes to break them down. So maybe because of all of the processed foods that you're putting in, your body doesn't have any enzymes to digest the food that you are putting in. So there's things like that. And then also the choices of foods. So when we're talking about those processed foods, you also have to understand most processed foods have a lot of chemicals in them. And those chemical toxins are things that our body doesn't know how to work with. It doesn't know what that is. It doesn't recognize it as food. And because it's not recognizing it as food, your body doesn't know what to do with it. And so it's like, get it out. And it will try to push those foreign substances out because it can't absorb them into the body. So we want to talk about eating from that rainbow. I think every single time I teach you guys, I talk about eating from that rainbow of food, making sure you're getting lots of different greens. I am a big proponent of the Walls Protocol, WAHLS, Dr. Terry Walls. She wrote a really fantastic book for MS and autoimmune disorders. And since that's something I deal with, I really like her stuff. But one of the things that she really is a proponent of is that rainbow of foods, that each color has different nutrients and minerals that our body needs. And each vegetable has different enzymes that help us to be able to digest our food and feel better. And she's a really big proponent of doing 3 cups of greens every single day and rotating and whatever happens to be in season. So some dandelion greens with some red kale or some yellow kale. I'm just making up vegetables now. Or cabbage or romaine lettuce and just rotating through those great greens, 3 cups of those a day. And then she also recommends 3 cups of sulfur containing foods. So, we talk about sulfur all the time, and I'll probably talk about it here in a few minutes, but sulfur is super important for every single cell in your body. Sulfur is what gives that flexibility to our cells, permeability. So like your lungs can move in and out really easy. That peristalsis we're talking about in your lungs, I'm sorry, your bowels. So it has that movement, that peristalsis, all of that flexibility we're supposed to have in our brain, we're supposed to have in our muscles, we're supposed to have in our heart. Part of that is sulfur, and things like cabbage, things like bok choy, cauliflower, broccoli, all of those things contain large amounts of sulfur. And Dr. Terry Walls says that you need 3 cups of those a day. So making sure you're getting those in. And then her last one is making sure you get 3 cups of bright colored fruits and vegetables. So think carrots, think squash, think sweet potatoes, all the different colored peppers. What else? Berries, blueberries, strawberries, wolfberries, all of those bright reds, bright yellows, bright oranges come to the table with a whole nother batch of nutrients. Seems like zeaxanthin and lutein and high vitamin A's and all of those things are in those colors. So making sure we're getting those bright colors, and notice something else all of those have in common. They're things that you have to chew. And all of those things come with enzymes to break them down. We need that wide variety of food. And I'll tell you another thing that helps with peristalsis, that movement we're talking about. I know you guys knew I was going to talk about it, but actual physical movement, getting up and doing things. I see a ton of people right now doing oh, what's the challenge where you hold yourself up? Plank challenge. Doing 10 seconds first day, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and over the course of a month, getting yourself where you're really holding yourself up and using those stomach muscles, using that contraction going on is amazing for what it can do for everything else in your body. So doing that, walking, physically walking, the importance of getting that. We talk about it all the time. Just depression alone, 6 minutes a day, right? Come on, we all have time for that. And all of those movements help our gut to have movement. It's supposed to be there. Another thing I want to talk about with those fruits and vegetables is they have another component. And the other component is that they have fiber in there. And the fiber isn't just for fiber. I hear people all the time, I just take a fiber supplement. I just take a fiber supplement. Listen, we need that wide variety, and we need insoluble fiber and we need soluble fiber. They do different things. One of them acts as a prebiotic. I want you to write that word down. Prebiotic. So when we talk about our microbiome, we have literally over 1,000 different types of bacteria that live in our gut. That is from our mouth all the way to the anus. They are supposed to be there. These are good guys. These are signaling molecules. That's what your microbiome is. 1,000 different types, and get this, over 100 trillion with a T, trillion individual bacteria. Mouth to anus. And prebiotics, all of these different fibery things we're talking about, these feed those bacteria. And why do you care? Well, when we discuss the fact that They are signaling molecules. So some of those bacteria we're talking about literally increase your body's sensitivity to insulin. Some of those molecules tell your body to pick up that leptin, that I'm full. Like, have you heard the people that go, "Oh, I took 2 bites of a cookie and I'm full, I'm good." Right? That is their leptin kicking in. And the leptin, part of the reason we have that signal flipped on is because of all of this great microbiome, all of these critters that we live in synergy with, that we live in harmony with. And these critters, each one of them have a different favorite food. So there's stuff that they live on, that they thrive on, and they will send signals, hear me and hear me loud. So some of those microbiomes, some of those critters crave sugar. It's what they live on. They love sugar, and they ferment in your gut, and you get this gurgling happening, and you get the upset bellies that happen after you eat, and the gassy feeling that going on. And what's happening is these bacteria are literally fermenting the foods that you just ingested, that candy bar, that piece of bread, that all of those carbohydrates, those get fermented in the gut, and all the different grains. And when you don't give it, these guys are really picky on what they want to eat. When you don't give it to them, they will send signals for us to eat more of the same thing. So think of those times where you're like, I can't, I promised I wasn't going to do it anymore, and I can't believe I caved, and woe is me, I'm horrible, I don't have any willpower. It is these life forms inside us that are trying to get us to eat these things. It's just, that's what they do, that gassy feeling. So what we're going to talk about today is how we can encourage the good guys, how we can encourage the ones that hit that leptin for us, how we can encourage the ones that help with serotonin. Serotonin is a feel-good neurotransmitter. 80% of your serotonin happens in your gut. It doesn't happen in the brain. And it's by the foods that we do and the things that we do and what we feed these critters that live inside us. We want to support them. We want to give them what they need. And some of what they need, y'all, are these different types of fibers. A prebiotic is feeding the good guys. It's going in so that there's more of them than there are of the ones that like us to crave the sugar. So you're getting your own off switch. So you're not fighting anymore. So yes, you should cut down on your sugar. Yes, cut down on the processed foods. But more importantly, I want you to increase your good foods. I want you to increase that rainbow of foods. I want you to increase those good fibers. I want you to increase the foods that have all kinds of enzymes in them, so your body can start defending you as well. Another thing you can increase to really help build that gut flora that we want, because we want a good, strong, health, good flora. And some of the things we can do are things like fermented foods. So sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is super easy. If you have never made sauerkraut, you are missing out on one of the easiest health foods you can make. And you can just Google it. How do I make sauerkraut? Because legit, all I do is put them in mason jars. I smush it all down. It's cabbage. I put it in there, I smush it down, I put it in there, I smush it down. I put some good healthy salt in there. It is easy. You should always have a batch of that good sauerkraut going. Just Google it. Easy as can be. So getting sauerkraut, putting that in, getting real like kombucha. Kombucha is fantastic. It's got all kinds of different floras. And again, this is something that you can make yourself, and you can Google how to do it. It is not hard. It just becomes habit. You want to turn these things into just habits that you're doing, and you'll see some great things happening. Like, did you know that when your gut is functioning like it's supposed to, not only do all these different neurotransmitters start clicking, so you have a better mood and you have more energy, but it can help you think better. Like that brain fog that we have going on and constantly going, oh, I don't know where I left my car. I don't know where the keys are. I don't know what I went into the kitchen for. We all do that. Getting your gut and that good flora going is going to change so much of that for you right now. So these are simple things that you can do. So look up all kimchi. If you like hot and spicy, kimchi is a fermented food that, again, you can make. It doesn't take, it takes maybe 10, 15 minutes to throw it together, but you're going to constantly have it fermenting. Hang on a sec. Yogurts, real yogurts. that say they have live cultures in there. Those are all things that if you're starting to consume one or two foods with what you're doing and adding some good flora, you're going to see some good things. Resistant starches. If you're not familiar with what those are, you can look those up. Like there's so much information because a resistant starch is a prebiotic. So think if you take potatoes and you eat them raw, they have certain nutrients in them, good stuff. So you can shred them. I know right now you're going, yeah, raw potatoes, but you could shred a potato and have it on top of your salad to get that in there. But you can also cook that potato and let it cool completely and then recook it and it will have something called resistant starch in there. So you could still have your potatoes and make it where it is supporting that good flora. You could also turn it into potato salad. So you can make your own good, healthy olive oil mayonnaise and mix that up, put it with those potatoes that have that resistant starch in there and mix it all up. And then if you want a kick, throw a little kimchi in there because it makes a spicy, delicious, more like a German potato salad. So there's lots of good foods that we can do to feed that flora, and it's what we need to focus because I know what everybody always wants. We want to just mix up some fiber and drink it down. We're like, I just want to rub on an oil and make it all go away. But if we don't go to our foundation is what we're putting in. Your gut, if you don't drink water, your gut is still going to have problems. Your gut, remember how I said it mixes with that hydrochloric acid and it goes through the process and it gets all liquidy and then it goes through the bowels and it gets liquidy. Your body will actually keep adding water to keep that all liquidy so it can be sucked up in the straw. But if you are dehydrated, your body doesn't have anything to work with. We have to give it those tools, and that's what food and water and movement and all these things that we're chatting about, these are all the building blocks that it takes. So if you know you're going to miss, because we'll always all have puzzle pieces that are missing, things that we didn't get to, things that I didn't do today. And this is when supplementation becomes really important because you can add to all those good things. I want you to know everything that I talk about from this moment forward, none of these are the fix. Okay, those foundational things, they're huge, they're important. In isolation, you can't just rub on one oil and take care of. I've seen a couple people posting things. It's just not how it works. We got to get those foundational things. So I want to talk about a few of my favorites when it comes to this. The first one I want to talk about is cleansing trio. Our cleansing trio is 3 different items that come together in a pack, and I believe it's out of stock right now. So I know you won't be able to run in and grab it, but you can grab the pieces. So I'm going to talk about the individual pieces. The 3 of them together work in partnership with all these other things I'm talking about with getting that good fiber going. And they work in tandem to work with that loving digestive system, that great peristalsis we're supposed to have, those extra enzymes we're supposed to have. And like our ICP has all kinds of different nutrients in there. It has the bentonite clay. It's got the diatomaceous earth, which, when you study diatomaceous earth, man, people will take just that and drink it down for the gut. People will take the bentonite clay and drink that for the gut. They'll put it on their skin because on their skin it's pulling out all the garbage and you wash that off. So it's in there. You've got fennel root in there. You've got so many different herbs that are just loving and supportive to your digestive system. It tastes a little bit like black licorice. It has anise essential oil in there. It has fennel essential oil. You've got so many different essential oils with herbs together, and you mix that up. Take a glass in the morning, a glass in the evening. I do recommend you drink it quickly because it has 2 grams of fiber in there. So this is not fiber for fiber support. So if you're used to taking a fiber supplement, like I'm just taking a fiber, this is not about this. This is not about just having a bigger, bulkier poop. This is about literally going in and loving on your digestive system. So it can have, so those villi can do their thing. And it has 1 gram of soluble and 1 gram of insoluble. So you're getting a really well balanced drink, again, morning and night. And then you're going to take Comfortone. Comfortone is one of my, I'll tell you, Comfortone is one of those that I probably teach about as much as I teach about water, because I think this is one of those foundational things. Like the world according to Shannon would have everybody enrolled in Young Living, excuse me, with one of our oil kits, they would get some juice and they would get the cleansing trio because I think it's so important to have our gut moving and flowing the way it's supposed to be. Because remember, those villi, they're sucking nutrients. And so maybe you're just missing some of the puzzle pieces. You haven't been getting the fiber, you haven't been eating the greens, you haven't been eating those sulfur foods. Because, for a lot of people, when they start all that sulfur stuff, they get gas and they're like, I'm all farty, I don't want to go anywhere, I'm farting everywhere I go. But that's okay because what happens when that microflora, all those guys inside there start getting it, maybe in the first week or 2 weeks, you might be passing gas more. Be like, I smell it too. I don't know where it came from. But what happens is more of the flora will feed on all of that broccoli and cauliflower and all those things. And as it feeds on it, it starts breaking it down. But in the beginning, you don't have enough of that type of bacteria to break it down. And this is where things like our trio come in because they help us, our gut get that balance again. Just super loving. This is Comfort Tone, and this is 2 in the morning, 2 at night. It partners with that ICP. So many good things in here. So the same oil profile that I said is in the ICP, it's in our Comfort Tone as well. So the combination of these two together are like, it just goes in and scours out all that buildup and that debris and all that stuff so that your gut can start moving like it's supposed to. And they're not real big. The ICP is a powder. You're just going to mix that in water. And then this is our Comfort Tone. They're not real big. You will definitely smell that anus, anise essential oil. Oh my gosh, I do that so often with that one. Anise essential oil. It's in both of them. That's that licoricey flavor. Super loving to your stomach. But you can't just buy anise essential oil from Young Living. It is always mixed in stuff. It's just amazing mouth to anus. The other thing that goes with that is our essential zymes. So we have several different types of enzymes, and I'm going to actually do a class in the next week or so just on our enzymes because we have so many different types and people aren't sure which one is for which. So I want to do that. But the essential zyme that comes in the trio is out of stock right now. So that's the reason you wouldn't be able to get it. So what you would do is get the cleansing trio and get the ICP. But then you can grab this one instead in the meantime. This is our Essential Zymes 4. So if you don't know what enzyme to start with, this is the one you start with. So what you have in here is, it's a ton of them. You're getting, I believe it is a total of 60 sleeves like this. And what you do is this is one serving right here. So you'll notice there is one that is brown and there's one that's kind of yellow. And each of these are dual released different types of enzymes. So your yellow one over here is higher in things like lipase. Lipase is an enzyme that breaks down fats. So it's going to digest, the avocados. It's going to digest that healthy meal we talked about with your olive oil. It's going to break that olive oil down into all its parts and pieces so you can get all those essential fatty acids. A lot of times people are upping their fats because they know how good it is for their brain and their skin. But if their body isn't breaking it into small pieces, it's not getting absorbed. This is an enzyme that helps break down the fats. It also has bee pollen in there. It's got several different essential oils, really similar to the profile that is in the Comfort Home. It has ginger, fennel, tarragon, anise, and lemongrass in there. So in addition to the lipase, it has some pancretin, which is good for some proteins. But the other one, the brown one, has enzymes that are really good for all of those proteins. So it's got protease, it's got amylase, cellulase. Cellulase is the enzyme that helps break down all those greens. So, okay, so have you ever ate a salad and then you go poop and there is lettuce floating in your stool? It's because your body didn't have the enzymes to break down the cellulose fibers that are inside your lettuce or the broccoli, cauliflower, all those things we talked about. This helps break them down into small enough pieces so my body can get the nutrients out instead of them just going out in the stool. Same if you see corn in your stool. You're eating corn and it's floating in your stool afterwards. It's just that your body isn't kicking them out as well. So on this one, you also have anise essential oil, ginger, rosemary, tarragon, fennel, phytase, bromelain. So for those of you, I've seen a couple saying that they have some upset belly type stuff. Bromelain is really great for that. So you can Google bromelain comes from things like papaya and pineapple. So those are some of those digestive enzymes, which are enzymes that, you know how when you eat a whole bunch of pineapple and your tongue starts to burn, it's the enzymes that are in the pineapple that start breaking down your tongue. Because that's why it's burning. It's starting to break that down. That's the enzymatic action that's in there. So that's how powerful enzymes are. So what you do with this is you take your two biggest meals, whatever. If you're only eating one meal a day, you can take one with that meal and take one for bed if you wanted to, or you could take one in the morning. So when you take enzymes with foods, they're helping to digest the food you're consuming at that moment. When you take them without food, so later in the day, or you forgot, or they're in your purse, like, oh man, I missed it. Don't just skip it. It's perfectly fine to take enzymes anytime because your body is constantly doing enzymes anyway. So just take them with you. I love the convenience of this one because they're broke down in these little packets. So there's always a handful of these in my purse. So if I go out to lunch with friends, I'm able to just pass out the enzymes to everybody. And when you're eating foods that aren't the highest quality, you know, you go out with some friends and you're at a restaurant, and you're not in control of the cooking situation, enzymes are going to help you be able to walk away without that, you know, oh, I ate too much feeling, because it helps to break that down. So yep, you're going to take the 2 tablets at one time. So you're going to take that little sleeve. That is one serving. So you would take this with your breakfast, and then you would take a different one later in the day. So it's these two together, and there's 60 packets of these. So if you're doing them twice a day, it's a full month supply. And I have said this all the time, and I truly believe this. Something is better than nothing. So if you look at your budget and you're like, oh, I can't add that one, you know, it just makes it's too expensive. But if you could do one of these a day, so this was a 2-month supply for you, is something better than nothing. So how many enzymes were you getting? You start taking one of those a day, it's way better than none a day. I even go to, if you have to take it every other day, it's about consistency. Instead of taking 2 a day, you know, back and forth, and you do it for 30 days, then you have to go 3 months before you buy another package. Do the math. Go, okay, I can buy another one of these in December. Then do the math and figure out how many you can take. And I believe that on everything. Something is better than nothing. Just like taking your enzymes an hour and a half after you eat is better than just forgetting your enzymes. They're not going to work inside the capsule, right? They're not working in your purse. You need to just take them. And I seen a quick question over there asking, do you recommend taking your enzymes before a meal or with the meal? Yep. Take them whenever. It doesn't matter. If it's more convenient for you to take all of your pills right before you eat, you do that. If you're like, oh, when I take my pills on an empty stomach, I get an upset belly, take them after you eat. Or some things, like I have a lot of people that have to take their vitamin Bs, or super Bs, they have to take them in the middle. So they eat a little bit, they take their Bs, they eat them afterwards, because if they do it on either side, it gives them an upset belly. So you just have to figure out what works for you. It's very individual. All right, so the next thing I want to tell you, remember, we're talking gut health. So there's a bazillion things I would like to share with you, but I'm trying to do gut health, and I'm trying to do it in a timely fashion. So the other one I want to talk about is Sleek Citruslim. Now, I know when we talk about Citruslim, we all think it's all about weight loss. But I want to explain something to you. This package right here, it is about weight loss because of what it is doing. In here, we have something called inulin. And inulin is one of those prebiotics that we talked about. So this helps to feed all of that good flora that we have in there. And what did I say when we feed the good flora? It helps to switch that leptin on. Leptin is the hormone that says, "Oh, I've had enough. I'm good. I don't need any more." That's leptin, and the more leptin we can get flipping, dude, that's what we want. But that's all about the inulin. So inulin in here goes in and it helps feed all of that good flora. So it flips that switch for you. But we also have inside here fiber an ocotea leaf. So ocotea leaf is amazing. It also has in the little liquid capsule. So you're going to take 2 packages of these a day. In the liquid one right here, one's liquid and one is that prebiotic, that inulin that we have. And then you have another package of 2. So you're going to take them 2 different times a day. Then I'm going to read to you what this does. These guys right here on the box promotes healthy weight management goals. It helps to burn excess fat. Can I get a holla, like a hand up, heart, whatever, if you are all about getting some of the excess fat burned off? I know I am, especially going into the holidays. I had to switch what class we were doing right now because I know we all set our intention being like, I know I'm going to gain a few pounds over the holidays. It is what it is. But does it have to be? Like if we were doing some stuff that kept us and have that switch flipping in, have that switch flipping, it increases your antioxidant activity. It reduces oxidative stress. We talk about that all the time. It supports healthy energy levels. Who on this Zoom, this call right now, would like healthy energy? Part of that is, remember what I said, when your gut is working and it's absorbing and it's not feeling overfull and it's able to actually digest, you're just going to a byproduct of all of that is energy. Are you down for some energy? I'm just saying, pop some hearts for energy. We need that. It also helps with your overall metabolism. So we talk about the thyroid and the adrenals all the time and what it does for the metabolism, but this is one of those products that we can say helps with your metabolism. It's such an it's just such a good addition to what you're doing. And that liquid cap has ocotea essential oil in it. It has lemongrass in there. It has, what else do we have in there? Lemon myrtle and Idaho balsam fir. If you have ever heard me talk about Idaho balsam fir, this is one of those. And we can't buy that as a single oil right now, y'all, but it comes digestible, a food that you can eat already in here. So it's going to help with those cray days, right? With the holidays coming up and all of the shopping and all of the people and family and can we get together with family and do we have to be in 3 different houses? I'm just saying. So those are ones that you can do. And that let's see, the powder capsule also has in it cassia bark powder. So it's powder of cassia. It has orange, it has grapefruit, it has just, oh y'all, just a host of ones. So because this is that fiber, because it is a prebiotic, because they have oils that are just so wonderful for increasing that energy and digestion and burning some fat, I'm just saying this might be one of those that you want to play with. So I would for sure do that. We also have an oil called Sleek Essence that you can put that oil right in your water and it will emulsify into the water. Where usually water and oil separate, our Sleek Essence, it doesn't. It goes right through the water. And that's another one that lines right up with helping us to feel satiated so that we're in control. And you can be drinking that one as well. It's amazing. Then the other ones I'm going to do super quick because I know I'm almost to my time. I'm really trying to keep these short. My Monday night ones are a little bit longer, more in depth for you. And then the ones I do through the week are shorter. So Sulfurzyme. Sulfur, remember what I was saying about this is filling in those puzzle pieces. So that 3 cups of making sure you're getting cauliflower, broccoli, bok choy, all of those things, because they're super full of sulfur, a sulfur arena as well. And they work to be able to help with that, the movement that's supposed to happen, that sulfur. So if you're missing those, you're not getting your three cups a day every single day. So we're talking what, 21 cups a week of making sure you're getting those greens, then this is one of those that you can supplement with. This is our Sulfurzyme, and this right here has that sulfur. It has the MSM, and then it has the Ninja wolfberry with it. And this happens to be capsules, but we also have a powder, and you can just put that powder right into a glass and drink it down. You can do the capsules, do 2 in the morning, 2 at night. And it's amazing what you'll see happening when you start filling in those little puzzle pieces and giving your body back the things that it needs to be able to build itself. The next puzzle piece I want to talk about right here, backwards, this is our master formula. So all of those greens, all of those bright colored fruits and vegetables that we're talking about, those are building blocks that our body uses to build us. It's the building blocks that it uses to build that gut microbiome. It's the building blocks. And I love our master formula because it fills in those pieces. So this would be the equivalent of our multivitamin, and it comes in a little package. It has 4 pills in here, and each of these pills are put together synergistically on purpose the way they are. So this liquid one right here, this is our fat pill. So this has those essential fatty acids we were talking about, along with essential oils that help our body so that we can absorb it. It also has in there, the liquid one has cardamom, clove, fennel, ginger, turmeric oil. So we all know how good turmeric is for us. It's in things like our power dyes. But this is the turmeric essential oil. It also has vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin K, and our vegan B3, all in just this one capsule. And then you have the other 3. So like this one right here is a caplet. This is a caplet of those green things we talked about. It's like a Nutrimint. So it's got food in here, and then they extrapolated all of the parts and pieces. So you're going to get that vitamin profile, the minerals. That's what you're getting in these. So these guys belong together. These two work together in the gut. This one breaks down different. It's got your vitamin Bs in there. Just such a great this. And again, you can carry it with you. Like you don't have an excuse that you forgot. You just take this one. So this one is a multivitamin. Everybody needs it every single day, like your neem to red. Then you have, the trio. These are for just working on the gut itself and for absorption. Then you've got your enzymes. Everybody needs enzymes. Then the sleek, you. Are you hungry when you oughtn't to be? Do you feel like you eat something and you can look at a cake and you gain weight? You don't even have to eat it because this helps with kicking up that metabolism and fat burning. This one might be the one for you. So somebody asked, how do you know which one to take? You do you. You play with it and see what's working for you. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. The only letters at the end of my name are MOM, right? So all I can tell you is what they do, and then you have to decide how they're going to work for you. 3 more honorable mentions that I have right here. I'm doing an extra class on this. I will probably jump in one day this week and talk about it, or next week. These are Young Living's Pure Protein Complete. We have the vanilla spice, which is what I've been putting in my pumpkin bread to help make pumpkin bread and have more protein. And then we have our chocolate. This is one that any chocolatey thing that you want, you can add it to it. So they're meant to just be put in powder, put in water rather, drink them, and they're a meal replacement. 25 grams of protein per serving. They also have those prebiotics we talked about, but it also has probiotics that are listed in here. So those probiotics are more of that gut flora. So it's adding them back in and it's feeding them, the good guys. It also has in here something called Love Atp. Love Atp is it's mineral ancient peat moss. So this is all that broken down plant matter, and then it is minerals, concentrated minerals. But I'm telling you what, this stuff tastes amazing. Like I use my chocolate, and I turn it into a pudding with avocado, and it is delicious. I can use it for a breakfast, a dinner, whatever I want. So next week, so next Monday at 6 o'clock. My class is going to be a Vitality Thanksgiving, and I'm going to show you a ton of recipes and go through recipes with you that you can use so we can still enjoy our pumpkin pie, our chocolate silk pie, our all of those good yummy foods, but eat it at a higher quality so that our body still feels good. So we don't have to worry about that weight gain or the upset belly or the headaches. I submit to you, this is the world according to Shannon. I think the foods we eat and don't eat, I think that's the reason we have a flu season, like legit. I think the fact that we pound the sugar, blah, 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 and it lowers our immune system. I think that's part of the reason that we get more colds and flus and aches and pains and, the seasonal stuff. Ugh. I think it happens because the foods that you're choosing. I think that if we can find ways to lower that amount of sugar and up the amount of foods that we have that give nutrients so our body can defend itself, designed and created. So I want to talk about foods that you can enjoy and still stay strong and healthy. I'm just saying we can have it all. And that is going to be next Sunday at 6. So I'll go more in depth over the pure proteins and ways that you can utilize them just to, give you those options so that you don't have to give up everything. I'm just saying. The last one, there's two more actually I want to talk about. One is Life 9. I'm not seeing it here. I must not have brought it in with me. But Life 9 is just good, strong, good flora. It is one pill. You just take one pill at bedtime, and it helps to go in and extend the amount of the good bacteria that we're supposed to have. So when I said we have some that are saying, "Oh, give me this, give me that," and it's sending cravings, Life 9 is the good guys, and it's a great way to supplement. So maybe if you're not going to be eating your sauerkraut and your kimchi and your kombucha and all of these good flora that we're talking about, this is just one a day that you take at bedtime that's going to help your microbiome expand and grow. And Gary Young, our founder, used to say, take it at bedtime, or right before you go to bed, with no food to help it expand and ferment. So we want that one to grow. We want that one to get so many flora inside our gut. So there's that one. Then this is the last one I'm going to throw out. We actually have 3 different kinds. These are I'm a tea lover. Are you a tea lover? I love in the evenings a good hot cup of tea. It is relaxing in my head. It like signals that it's time to chill. So I put on my blue light blocking glasses. I have my peace and calming, my tranquil, my cedar wood, all the things going in my diffuser and rubbing on. And then I drink myself some good yummy tea. And the one that I have in my hand right now is our spiced turmeric. Like I said, we have 3. And this one is if you're not used to doing real herbal teas or you're used to doing just some janky stuff you're finding on the shelf, it is very strong. It's got a very potent flavor. So for you, you might want to brew a container of tea. So it has 6 glasses inside the container, and put just the one tea bag and use that and let it brew that whole thing. And then you can drink that tea all evening. You can put it back in the fridge and then heat it up the next day so you can get another boost of it. But turmeric is super loving to our gut. So getting that spiced herbal tea or getting that enjoyment and that relaxation from a nice warm cup of tea, but then it's also giving a little love to the gut. Turmeric is one of those that's just super supportive, super loving. So some oils I'll share real quick that I like to rub on my belly are things like our dyes. Dyes has a lot of those oils that we listed that are in things like our trio because they're so good for the gut. And they're just nice and soothing. We have some that are our vitality oils that you can put in a cup of tea. So you could take our dyes, put it with your turmeric tea and drink that down. You could do things like our fennel vitality. Fennel vitality is a $15 oil that I think you all should just have. It is one of those that in the middle of the day when I make poor food choices, I can put a couple of drops of fennel in some warm water and I drink it and it is so soothing. So I usually start burping pretty quick after that. But you can use things like our peppermint vitality. We have one for our littles called tummy dyes. And you can just rub that on their little tummy and it just warms right up and it makes them really content. So we have lots of different options that you can do for oils for the gut, for loving on the belly and stuff. But for real, it's your food choices. Your microbiome lives and dies according to what we put in our gut. So I encourage you just to try some different things, see what works for you. Like I said, I'm going to come on and do a couple of different classes. I know I need to do one on our meal replacements. They're so amazing. Y'all need to know about them. I know I need to do one on our enzymes, so I'm going to try to get that put out in the next little bit. So I'll be popping in for 15, 20 minutes. Oh, somebody also mentioned, yes, thank you, Stephanie. Was it Stephanie? Susan. We have Mighty Pro, which is our probiotics for our kids. We also have a kids, and I should do a kids belly class. So maybe we'll just throw that out there. Lots of things to play with. I will get back with your comments. Anyways, love you all. We will chat with you later. Some announcements I want to make. Make sure I got them done. Already told you that. I put a link in the description for the Young Living Oil Summit, which is this online free event. It's amazing. If you want some more oily education, I think it is all the way to the 7th. There's like 4 or 5 amazing speakers that are on every single day, authors, doctors, Royal Crown diamonds, all kinds of people, free. You can just go listen to them, or you can upgrade and be able to get where you have it. If you're time sensitive, you can get it on yeah, where you can watch it forever. You know what I mean? But just go check it out. It's fantastic. And then I am setting up a Santa's workshop with all of the different vendors that we've had at all of our events. And we're going to get together and show you all the different ways you can use all those cool things that you can get from our vendors and tie them together with Young Living products to be able to gift to everybody you know. So it's going to be your Santa's workshop. You can go in there with all kinds of ideas. So make sure you're paying attention for that. If you're part of my team, this is our member appreciation month. So we're doing 30 days of giveaways, pulling stuff right out of our advent calendar. So if you're a part of my team, make sure you're in there looking for the member appreciation post. Today is day 2. You just have to comment in there to be able to get added to that. And then next week, Vitality Infused Thanksgiving. All right, you guys, we will chat with you later. Blessings.